Oh, we've got a few in already there. Hey. Hello. How are you doing? Yes, another Monday, another garden question times. Let's steal that idea off Gardener's World there and everything. Welcome to the show. Yes, we've got a fine show today. We've got Steve again, green side up, and Audrey over there. Still hasn't got touchy subject. Hasn't got the YouTube channel up yet, but anyways, so you're here again to say hello and bring in some gardening cheer on these cold bloody nights. Lovely warm days, mind you, but cold nights. God, man, temperature has been just scraping ice off the cars. Just so cold, but so warm through the day. So you're kind of fighting. You're fighting it. But anyways, let us bring in our good friends. Let us bring in Steve. Hello, Steve. Can you hear me, sir? No, I cannot hear you. There, are you there? Can I hear you?
Yeah, you probably can now. You've took me off mute.
Aye. ever a professional, you know what I mean? Just thank you very much. And I'll bring in Audrey as well. Hello, Audrey.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So we have the team in today. Yes, we've got the team to answer your questions and all sorts like that. First up, if you want a question answered, put it in capitals in the chat, and I'll try and get to it if I get round to it. You know what I mean? It's difficult sometimes, but you know what I mean. I'll try my best. Put it in capitals if you're struggling on and you want some advice from the old fella, the old boy there. You know what I mean? He's been gardening since he's 5. Or the American with the newfangled country there, the new country. We'll ask Audrey as well. So. First off, Steve, let me just, Audrey, you'll be able to see this as well. Let's just change cameras. Now, I'm going to show something here, Steve.
Right.
Let's just get the camera on and I'll just change it for everyone else to see. And this is synonymous in gardening, UK gardening. I'm going to bring it in. Can you see it? Stephen, now let's talk about these then, because I think honestly these are quintessentially like an allotment. I don't know. I got these today. I got about 9 off a garden centre, and I'll talk about the garden centre a little bit there. Steve, do you use the blue tray?
Oh gosh, yeah, I must have 30 or 40 of them on the plot. I've currently got 3 trays that are growing. One's growing kale, one's growing mustard greens, and like the Japanese stuff, and another's growing salad. I've got another one with older salad that I'm about to compost, and I've just sown a new one today. So yeah, I use them. Brilliant.
Steve, do you know where they come from? What are they? Because it just seems like gardeners have them. I don't see. Are they from garden supplies, like big garden supplies? Because this was a little garden centre that had loads of them.
It's mushroom supplies, basically, Tony. They're packed.
Right.
They're packed like that for use by caterers. When I used to be a chef, we used to get hundreds of those things in full of different types of mushrooms.
Right. Audrey, do you know about these?
I know about them, but we don't use them. I went looking for these because I saw them on all the UK garden shows, and I thought, well, I have to get some of these. No, I can only find them for purchase from a restaurant supply company.
Right.
That's the only
So it's
place.
obviously what Steve was
And
saying,
they're
though,
like
like
top dollar there. They're
from the
very
food
expensive.
industry kind
Yeah.
of thing. Right. I
Yeah,
never
and they're
knew.
called mushroom. Yeah, they're mushroom crates here too, but you can't find them.
I never. Bloody hell, mushroom crate. So that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at that, man. I don't know if you can see. Wait, I'll show everyone.
Oh, that's
Let's have a look.
hilarious.
Yeah, mushrooms. I can't see it, Tony. Look at the bloody label, man. Do you know what I mean? Kind of.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Well.
There you go,
So-
Tony. Professional right down to the last there.
Right. Any questions, please, in capitals? That would be fantastic. What else have I been getting? Right. You can still see my desk, hopefully, Steve. Now.
Yep.
And let's have a look. I'll bring up this little seed company, Steve, because I realised a while ago, let's put the razor back on there, Vital Seeds. I want to give a little plug out to Vital Seeds. Now, I watched yours, Steve, a while ago.
Yeah.
This winter lettuce, is it Grenoble Red? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, red Grenoble or Rouge Grenoblaise.
Yes.
Well, that's probably my all-time favourite lettuce, and especially for it's good for growing all year round, but especially good for growing through the winter. Absolutely stunning lettuce, it really is.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, mind you, it took me, I'm not joking, it took us, you can kind of Google something and find a seed, but it took a while to find a seed. But this little company, Vital, it was just, they got them there like the next day. So I don't know if anyone can kind of see there. It says sowing suggestions when February to October, spacing 30 centimetres, 20 centimetres, depth half a centimetre there. Audrey, have you heard of these Grenoble Red? Is that something?
Yes, I have. And I get it from a company called Seeds of Italy. And it comes as the Rouge Grenoblaise, like Steve was saying. It's very good.
Right.
Very good lettuce. Yes, very good.
Now, I'm guessing, Steve, we can't get anything from Europe at the moment, can we? Or
to be honest, Tony, I haven't heard of any problems or seen anything myself. I mean, normally with the seeds of Italy, the Franchi seeds, they're normally stocked in the UK anyway.
Right.
So I don't know if there's any issues there at the moment. The only issues I know with seeds and plants and things is from the UK mainland over to Ireland. I know a lot of the Irish folk are really struggling, and it's kind of not fair on them, really. But that's the only issue I've heard of.
I'll tell you why I was watching. I was watching Charlie Dowden, and he was.
Right.
I actually got the seed. It was a carrot. I was watching him how he plants his carrots and everything like that, and it was over. I'm not sure where. It might have been Sweden, but UK was off, and I was thinking, I wonder if this is something to do with the kind of, the Brexit, all that, kerfuffle there. I wonder if that's a knock-on effect. We kind of get seeds, or European seeds. But would you buy some? Do you normally? Are you stick you're not really a Premier Seed Direct kind of soul. You'll go other places as well.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really ordered anything from the continent now for a couple of years. The last thing I ordered was a giant cabbage from France, and that took a while to come. But that was before Brexit, and I've never sowed one of the seeds yet. I've still got them.
Right.
But
Audrey, do you ever order from the UK?
I do. One of my favorite seed companies is actually in Ireland, and I can't get seed from it right now. It's called Seedaholic. And since I kind of am, I thought this was a perfect place for me to get seeds. And I've ordered from them for several years. I've also ordered from Mole's seeds.
Mole seeds, very good.
Yeah. Premier doesn't send to the United States.
No.
There are a lot that don't. So I've looked at all kinds of your seeds, and they don't ship here.
Well, again, I just want to say this, and it got there first class. It was, I'm sure I ordered it on a Saturday night, and it was waiting for us Monday morning. Do you know what I mean? We've been away. We've actually been about 20 miles away from Steve in a cottage, not just this weekend. But if anyone can, support this little Vital Seeds company, I honestly just thought, I'm trying to stay away from the kind of the big, the big uns now. There's just no love there for him. That sometimes the stuff you get, especially like the plug plants and that, are shockingly bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they came with like a little card. They came with like a sticker and the actual packet of seeds there. So I'll just show Steve and I just thought that was, you know what I mean?
Excellent.
So, Steve, you'll not have done it, Audrey, but have you been to Vital before, Steve?
No, I haven't. I have heard of them, I think, somewhere on the line. I know the name, but no, I've never even looked at their website or even. I've made a note of it. And after this is done, I'll go and have a look and see.
Well, I mean, I'm certainly not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I just thought I like that. I like the package. I mean, you can, you know what I mean? You're like Premier Seeds Direct is just like phenomenal. You know what I mean? But there's still other little specialized places as well. So I was kind of really chuffed with that. So let's see. Let's put we're back on the main camera there. Yes. So Audrey. Tell everyone then what you've been planting this week since the last seen you. What have you been sowing?
Well, and you'll see this in my video that's maybe coming out. We do a thing over here called winter sowing, which is not like how you guys do it in undercover. We make mini greenhouses out of containers, and you sow seed and you put them outside for the entire winter and let them just do their thing. So I sowed arugula and spinach, some lettuces. I want to get a jump on spring a little bit, and I think tomorrow I'm sowing beets, and I'm sowing these right outside in my raised beds. And we're still getting 22-degree nights, 22 Fahrenheit, which I know is a lot colder than that Celsius. I'm really bad at making.
I was going to say, go on, someone tell us what that is. Someone
I can do it the other way. I can't do it from
someone
Fahrenheit
in the chat. Tell us what.
So we're still getting very low temperatures. But
actually, Victoria just said there. Victoria Big. I'll just put it up there. Vital Seeds is one of the few suppliers to do Brad's Atomic Seeds from this, on this fair aisle. So there's a plug as well. So yes, go and support, like I say, an independent seed company there. Stephen, actually we could be here all bloody week when you ask Stephen what he's been sown, because it's just like monstrous. What have you sown this time then, Stephen?
Well, today or?
Well, I was gonna say within. Do you know what I mean? Like this week kind of thing. Since the last time we spoke here.
Oh right. Well, I've just made. I haven't published it yet. It's going out tomorrow. I've made a lettuce video and I've sown a load of lettuce seeds today. I think 7 or 8 varieties. Something. A handful.
Right.
I've sown a load of seeds today and spoken about them and what I'm doing and how I manage my sort of lettuce over the year sort of thing. So that's today. Tomorrow, flowers. Tomorrow I'm doing carnations tomorrow. What else have I got? I can't remember.
Well, I'll ask you this. I'll reverse this question then. What failures have you had since? Have you had any failures in sowings? Because I've had a couple. Well, actually 4. Since when I started in February. So I'm wondering, have you had any?
Yeah, I sowed sweet peas and they got mullered by the slugs. The slugs ate the sweet peas. What else did I try? I sowed some scabious the other day, which is a flower seed. Walked into the greenhouse 3 mornings ago and there's a big fat slug sat on it, eating it. So he went quickly flying over the churchyard. He was gone. Every year I have failures. Every week I have a failure of some description, or you don't get a full tray to maturity. You never do. But that's just what gardening's all about. It's just trying to lessen those problems.
Audrey, have you had failures?
I have. I tried to start some ornamental grasses. germination was horrible. So I've re-sown all of those. I had a 50-50 germination of celeriac. So I've restarted some of those. My celery didn't start at all. So I don't know
Gosh.
if it's old seed or user error. I don't know.
It's
Uh,
just a weird thing. I think it's so
but
like
it's part
not
of it,
frustrating.
isn't
It's
it?
just that you just think, is it me? Just why are you know what I mean?
But then my tomatoes, every seed came up.
Well,
So now I
it's funny enough.
have 900 tomato plants now. Every seed came
How
up.
many?
No, I'm kidding. It's not 900, but I usually plant 4 to get 1, just in case. Everything
Right.
came up.
It's funny,
So
Audrey,
I'll
when
be giving
you
away
mentioned
a lot.
the tomatoes there, all my brads have come, every one, because you don't get that many in the packet, to be honest. And every one of
No.
them black strawberries came as well. So I'll be able to, they're even, and that was only a week ago, I'll be able to prick them out and get them into some sort of decent sized
Exactly.
container.
Yeah.
Stephen, tomatoes, anything going on with your tomatoes? Are they, they'll be producing, are they, by now?
Yeah, but we've just made a passata tonight out of them. No, they're still about this sort of size. You know, they're not very big at all, but they're growing. The main thing is right now is that they're growing roots, and that's the important thing. And they'll shoot away soon enough. They just need proper heat and sunlight, and they'll be away. But they're not leggy. That's the main thing.
Have you? Are you putting some outside? You like Crimson Crush? Are you doing anything like that?
I might do. I did that not last year, the year before, and they did reasonably well. But I think I'm going to be snowed under with tomatoes this year, thanks to Audrey, who sent me some seeds. So I think some of the plants will be going outside, and I'll try and shelter them. Maybe try and put up a curtain or something just to cosset them a little bit. But yeah, I think I'll be doing that because I've got a load of seeds now, and I've got to try all these new ones to me.
Well, I'll show you as well, everyone. That's I've got some more seeds. Stephen, Audrey, is it too late? I got some because I seen Steve's video the other day about marigolds, tageets. Steve, is it too late to sow them or not?
No, go for it.
Right.
No.
I've got
marigolds will come up so quick for you.
Right, orange gem, marigold, and tageets, petite mixture. And I think, you know what I mean, look at this, the amount of seeds you can get there.
Yeah.
99 pence. Do you know what I mean? You can't go wrong.
Crazy.
I also got from Premier Seeds Direct, we got some lettuce, some red Simron romaine. I've never heard of that one, but I'm just trying to kind of in red velvet. You heard any of them, Steve?
I've got some of the red velvet. I haven't sown them yet. I was looking at those today and thinking, you know, I might sow them in a tray and see what they come up with, along with the Marvel of Four Seasons. That was another one I was thinking because I bought a packet from Premier Seeds and I think there was 7,000 seeds in a packet. For heaven's sake, ridiculous. So I thought, well, I can sow a tray and see what it's like.
It's just when you think that kind of price is just, you know what I mean? What you get is just kind of, oh man, it's like happy time. What else did I buy? Oh, right, wait on, let's put back on the razor cam. Look at this. I'll just make sure you two can see as well. So, little envelope that came from Premier Seed Direct. I don't want to show you, give it away straight away. Can you tell what it is when I open it and show you? Let's have a look. It's seeds. I'll say that.
There'll be a packet of radish seed, is it?
Oh, yep, there we go.
What? Oh, it's a seed tape.
Yes, carrot seeds. So I got, because I copy off, you know, like people like on the shoulders of giants. I'm sure you were talking about, or someone was talking about Autumn King carrots. And then I seen, and these were only like £1.70. And I'm not sure you get. I've never used them before, so I don't know. But I'm shocking at sowing seeds, and I'm shocking at thinning out. So I've got, and I'll tell you next time about. I've got this. I found this even better method for sowing carrots using cornstarch, corn flour. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I'm going to give this a go as well on a bed. Audrey, have you used seed tape?
I haven't. I have never used that,
It feels.
but I've heard.
It feels
But I
like
heard it does quite well.
It feels like if I'm honest, like a tissue paper, like a toilet
Well,
roll.
you can make it out of toilet paper.
Right.
Yeah. So I've never done it. I've seen it done. I thought, well, if I get desperate, maybe
I was
I'll do
looking for a
that,
cheap joke there, but it's a job of bloody hell, man. I'm a professional. I'm professional. Steve,
No, I think you'll have good success with those.
well, I mean, they've got two. When you look at it, there's two seeds. Wait, I'll put it on so folks can see there. So there's two seeds. There's 3 strips, and there's 2 seeds every, say, 2 or 3 centimeters. I don't know, anyone in the chat, has anyone used seed? I mean, I'll not lie, it's a FEMA thing. You know, and if there's a windy day and I think I would probably wet the ground. You know how we've been talking about soaking the ground first, and like the
Yeah, so those will stick. Yeah, so that paper would stick. Yeah.
But that's
I've tried something similar to that with salvia seeds, and that didn't work. I didn't get one come up.
Right.
So I've never tried the seed tapes myself.
Where did you get them from?
Oh, the salvia seeds. Oh, I don't know. Somebody gave me them as a present. It was like a sort of a 10-inch paper disc, and you could see all these little seeds in it.
Right.
And, put them in a pot. The idea was you put them on the top of a pot of compost and sprinkle compost over the top, and then they grow. I didn't get anything, so.
Right. Well, I'm going to show you another little buy. When I've been away, I got this from eBay. I've been away for a few days. I've just been like, I haven't been near a garden, so I'm kind of like desperate. Are you ready for this one then?
Here go on then.
Let's just put it on.
Oh, test kit.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
So cheap as chips, to be honest. A test kit for, can people see that there? For test the pH, nitrogen. Well, I'm not sure what P is for, and K, to be honest. One must be iron, is it? Or
potassium. Phosphorus and potassium.
Iron. K is a Newton developed flowers and shrubs. Anyway, 60 tests in there, UK, British standard thing there. It's because you mentioned once, Steve, that you thought my soil was a bit lacking in nitrogen.
I think so, yeah.
I thought, plants. To be honest, if I'm on, I might not get even use the thing. I was just, you know what I mean. But I don't know. Anyone in the chat use some? Audrey, what about you? Have you used?
I haven't used a test kit like that. I have a monitor that I can put in my soil, and it will read what my NP and K are. So that's kind of nice. I haven't done pH, and that one doesn't test for pH. But I think if anything, I'm not even going to guess what my pH, if it would be up higher or lower. I just know the ones that I have to add more acid to because they like acid. Yeah, no, but I just have a dial that goes in.
Well, it's funny. It's like I haven't bothered, and like I say, I've got the thing here, and it mightn't even come out of the package. It's something like, I don't know. It's just like, well, they grow anyways. I've had good luck, you know what I mean, or good luck or whatever, bad luck sometimes. But Steve, what about you? Are you keen on that, or is it just too much?
I've got one similar to that in the shed. I used it about 6 or 7 years ago, and the problem I have with it is that you've got to select your soil, then you've got to rinse it in water or shake it up in water. Then you've got to skim off all the humus, which is all the sort of bits of wood and leaves, and just leave yourself with the mud that's left. Then you put your chemical into the mud, and then you've got to wait. But then that's only for that particular area that you tested the soil for. So I did one test and then threw it in the shed, and it's still there now. Because you're only testing for one little area, basically.
It's something that I'm kind of, do you know what I mean? Just thinking, wow, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Well, let's have a look. So, questions.
Make a good competition prize, Tony.
Have I? Yeah, that did. Oh, I'll tell you what. The last couple of things I've got to show still. One moment. I'll put on the razor. I use on the razor there. Steve recommended this last year to me there, the Bible in salad growing. I really want to kind of try, and from now until next year now, and try and have a lot of salad or get. I kind of just been where it's like a couple of varieties and that's it. But I'm slowly getting excited about salad, and there's loads. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of thinking, right, let's see if I can do it properly and not rush things. And and I'm actually reading this Charlie Dowden book, and it's brilliant, to be honest. I'll not lie, like I say, and it gives you ideas for other salad and other lettuces.
Yeah.
And I know, Steve, you mentioned you told us about this book. You know what I mean? So
no, I didn't. I bought you it for Christmas.
Is that right? So did you buy? I thought
Yeah.
Aye.
Not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before it. It was like a kind of a thank you for all the help you'd given me setting me up with my channel and that.
You know what I mean? When I put that down, when I banged it on the table, but I'm talking away, and I'm thinking, did, and I didn't like to say it, did Steve get me this? But you know what I mean? What a gentleman. Because I guess he knows his stuff, do you know what I mean? But and you think with salad, there's, you know what I mean, you put it in, but there's so much more to it. I think it's like the rabbit well, like like how deep do you go down a rabbit hole kind of thing.
Yeah, loads to it.
Well, and he does sell a lot of salads.
What was that?
I think he sells a lot of salad greens.
Yeah, I think within like a kind of 4 mile, maybe 10 mile radius, I think he's kind of.
So I think he's learned really well how to grow it and harvest it at the right time so that you can take it to a purveyor and they can sell it. So yeah, he's top drawer to me. Yeah, he is.
So Audrey, what about salads for you then? Wait on, Steve. I'll get to you there. He's got that many, man. He's got to have a sack full of the bloody things. Is salad? Are you kind of well up there? You know your salads, or are you willing to kind of take on new ones? Or
I always try new ones because I'm all about growing what I can't get at the grocery store. And if I if I see something that I've not seen before, I try it every year, always. And I grow a lot of lettuce, a lot of different greens because we like them. And once you grow them yourself, what you get in the store just tastes like disappointment. I mean, it's just not the same.
No, Audrey, that's
right.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's what Charlie Dowden's saying there as well. Do you know what I mean? He's saying it's
the flavor is so different.
Aye. I'm getting all
crazy.
mixed up here with me camera kind of weird on there. Just get this back to there. I get a bit carried away and I'm kind of all click, 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 click. I'm trying to make you see things and everyone in the chat and on watching it. So what is it? I think, I've got something else that I bought. So I fail at everything, right? So you kind of know I fail at most things. I especially fail at red onions. So we come back from our little stay, and I seen these in Wylam Nursery. These are red onions from seed. Now, if these don't bolt for me, bunching onions there, red onions, red baron, if they don't bolt, I'll be converted like no problem at all, because I've never done seeds for like red onions. I've always just the kind of a set kind of guy, heat treated. But I bit my tongue there. But they still fail miserably. So I seen these. We're called in at Wylam Nursery, and we're called in at Heading on the Wall Nursery as well. I needed a fix because, like I say, I've been away for ages there. So I needed a kind of fix. So
did you spend any time with your family while you were away?
Well, yes, that's what I'm saying. I spent all the time with my family, but I didn't spend any time with the garden kind of stuff. So
you're like this with your phone. Yes, dear. Right, I'm ordering that.
I mind you, like it's that side of it's just so good, isn't it? When you can just sit on your phone Do you know what I mean? And just
Deadly. Deadly.
Oh,
I mean, I'm going to go to this
Yeah.
Vital Seeds website after this is finished,
uh-huh.
and I know full well I'm going to spend 20 quid on there.
Oh,
and I
no,
don't need-
it's well, Steve, I know I've still got more seeds coming because it's no matter. I got that big order from Premier Seeds, and the minute they come, you know what I was thinking? You watch another video and you think, I should get some of them. So you think, right, all right. So there's you know what I mean? And you don't mind paying like the price of seeds, especially like Premier Seeds Directs. It's the kind of, I wish I'd just done it there and then. Do you know what I mean? So like going back, waiting 3 or 4 days. Well, I mean, Premier Seeds, it's kind of, I think it's 2-day postage or a first class postage, to be quite honest. Audrey, what have you been buying then, lass? Have you been buying any?
Oh, it's hard for me not to. And I'm just like you. I see another YouTube video or I get another seed catalog in the mail. I'm looking at them. They're beautiful. And I think, oh, I have room for that. No, I really don't. But I, in my head, think I do. So, yes, I just bought, trying to think what my last stuff was that came in. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. What was the last stuff I bought?
There's only
Probably-
10,000 watching.
I know. I don't mind me with taking up dead air here. Yeah.
They're just going to whistle. I tell you what, we're talking, and I've just seen Victoria Baker's asking there. And actually, is everyone having terrible germination with spring onions? Ishikawa are the only ones that've come up for.
Oh. I'm growing ramrods, and they came up really well.
Right.
Yeah,
And I got those from I got those from Muddy Boots.
Oh, right.
Nigel likes that kind, so I got that kind, and they came up beautifully.
Well, what I was talking about with fails this year is the Ishikawa seeds that are sown. I don't know why they didn't come up. They were great last year, germination. Maybe it's just a bit of a heat thing, and I'll get better once the kind of April comes, once the heat's there. Because you're a bit of a kind of swear by them, don't you, lad? The kind of.
I think they're wonderful. I've always struggled with the bog standard in this country is White Lisbon. That's the variety that most people grow and grow well. But I could never get them to swell at the bottom, to get that little bulb at the bottom. It never worked for me, so I gave up on them. And I've tried several varieties, and I came across this Ishikura, and I didn't even know what a bunching onion was at that stage, but I tried them, and I've not looked back since.
Mm-hmm.
They're brilliant.
Yeah, they are a good onion.
Let's just have a look. Widespread Gales is asking, yes, put some questions now in the comments, but capital letters so the old fella can see them. And that's I'm talking about myself there, not Steve there. Widespread Gales, what shop can I get big steaks for Gardener's Delight tomatoes? I would string them up personally, to be honest, but that's mine. What about you, Steve? Steaks?
I didn't know to be honest. What is it? Trying to look in the comments, I can't see. What was the question? Sorry.
What shop can I get big steaks for Gardener's Delight tomatoes? That's from Widespread Gales.
Well, Wilco's do big garden canes, if that's what she's thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
They do 8-foot garden canes.
Let's just have a look for any more. Right. Well, we've just been talking about this, Steve. Can we have a top tip for growing salads from the three of you?
Oh, grow in the shade.
Right.
Dappled shade. You don't want them in full sun. You don't want the full strength of the sun at midday. They grow better in a bit of shade. That's probably a good tip. That's what most people don't do. Normally, you see a veg patch and you'll see broccoli, cabbage, onions, and then lettuce down there, a couple of rows of them, and they're in full sun. If you can tuck them away in a corner somewhere and have a little bit of dappled shade on them, they'll grow a lot better.
How do you do that, Steve? When, like my allotment, you know what I mean? There's not much kind of shade there at all. You know what I mean? It's kind of
the back of your polytunnel, the side of your polytunnel that faces the shed. You've got that little strip of land there. That'd probably be perfect for it.
That's me charred. Do you know what I mean? One thing I'm going to try, which is a tip, is do a lot more of interplanting with the and maybe you'll get your shade from there, but interplanting, so veg that are kind of coming later in the year. This is what I've been reading with the Charlie Dowden book, is try and get like a lot of interplanting in there and plant and sow, like have your certain times. So I've got me times now. I've sown now. I'm going to sow in May. I can't remember. I think it's June, and then the winter ones as well. So I'm kind of really trying to concentrate and be a good boy and practice, Steve, with me salads.
Yeah. Well, you saw me doing it a couple of years ago. Well, I did it last year as well. Before the tomato plants come out, I've already got kale and brassicas and stuff growing underneath the tomatoes while the tomatoes are still cropping. When you take all those leaves off the bottom of your tomatoes, all the light comes in there. So get something in the ground, get it growing, get it started.
Audrey, lass, any tips you can just...
I think it's probably better to water lettuce from the top and not from the bottom. I have some drip irrigation in my garden beds, and for the lettuce, I overhead with a little sprinkler because I think they like to be a little damp for the heat. I also grow heat tolerant lettuce when it gets hot. I move to different varieties that take the heat because, like you, I don't have much shade in my yard. And I also do really intense planting of lettuce, like just stacked rows 4 inches apart, and they kind of just grow up straight. And I cut them like I don't grow them for heads. I grow them just for the leaves.
Yeah,
and so I can crop it and get another crop off of it in like 2 weeks.
So when you're saying, Audrey, there, when you're saying you don't grow for heads, are you doing what Charlie Dowden does, just picking individual leaves? Or you just slicing the top off?
I sow them in rows, very close together, like maybe an inch apart. Maybe it's probably less than that because lettuce seeds. And then I do those every 4 inches. And the leaves just go straight up, and then I can come in and just harvest with scissors, and don't cut them all the way to the core, and then they'll grow back within the next couple of weeks.
Come again.
Yeah, cut and come again. And the whole bed is then covered, so there's a lot of shade provided so you don't get a lot of weeds.
Yeah.
What about you, Stephen? I'm not saying when you cut and come again, which I did last year quite a bit, I don't know, it just seemed for me, maybe it was just running the seed, but it just felt like once I took 1 or 2 cuttings, that was it, finished. Where I'm going to try, and I think it's more fiddly by a long way, picking individual leaves. I don't know if I'll see how I go on this first harvest, if I can, but I think I'll just go get the hori knife and probably just kind of get up there. But once I've done like, say, 2 cuttings, they're starting to run the seed. I think it's shot for me.
If you plant a lot of lettuce at the same time, 1 or 2 cuttings will give you a ton of lettuce.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And by then, I'm ready to put in my heat tolerant stuff. Let that go for a while, and then I put back in my cooler tolerant ones to get me to fall. So, it's one of those crops that you just can't grow the whole season. I mean, it's not gonna. But you need to kind of keep adding new plants. So it's like that's kind of the thing you want to just keep sowing. I mean, Steve is great at that. You just want to keep new plants ready to go in when these are starting to peter out.
I've got a tray on tomorrow's video all about lettuce. I've got a tray there that I think we started eating back in December, and I took it down to the allotments from the greenhouse at home because I'm going to compost it. But I was looking at it today, and I could still get another harvest off it. So that must be 3 or 4 at least harvests off that.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try, and I'm going to try as well to go through as late as I can into the kind of winter. Do you know what I mean? Because like you say, you sit here now in kind of February, or was in February, watching like Charlie Dowden, and he's got salad beds blooming. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, right, that's it. But he did one tip, mind you, which I thought I didn't do last time, and I don't know if I read it in the book or something, was when the tomatoes are going to come out, and I'm going to probably get rid of the tomatoes as quick as possible. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to hang on to like one's ripen. I want to get one side out. But as you know, I kind of plant in pots with the holes in, and I feed into the pots. So normally the surrounding area is parched dry. Now I heard him say he gives it a great soaking first. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I didn't do. I just kind of planted them in, give them a water, which I thought was enough. But in hindsight, I think my ground after the tomato season is just like it's a dust bowl almost.
You either need to go full no dig with those beds, Tony, or you need to dig it before you plant anything for the winter as well.
I'm not.
You've been walking all over that, and the reason I know that is because of your carrots and the way your carrots grew.
I'm not precious about. Yeah, I'm not precious about no dig in a polytunnel. You know what I mean? I'm not precious about no dig. You know what I mean? If I kind of dig it, but I find I like no dig. It's a damn sight easier. But I don't know if I just know the parched dry and it has to be like hellish waters.
One of the other things I've learned from Charles Dowding, since we're on him, is when you sow your lettuce, sow it half whatever you're sowing it into and half vermiculite to make it so after I do the drill, I throw in some half vermiculite and half of my compost, which is on the top of mine, and the germination rate is phenomenal.
I didn't get that, Audrey. What you doing there? You're throwing you mixing your vermiculite and your compost together, then throwing it in.
Yes, I do my drills and I make it bigger than I need, and then I fill it with this half compost, half vermiculite, and then I sow my seeds into that, and the germination rate is crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one thing I learned from him years ago. Like, make your lettuce dirt very light with vermiculite, and they will be happier. And I've seen that.
Let's try that.
Well, I'll mention it because I was going to show it next week, but I've seen this for like seed for sowing carrot seeds and for germination. I'll have to put the link the next time. There's a YouTube I watched, a lady where she mixes up like cornstarch. You know how it's like a thickener. So she mixes up this cornstarch, she boils it, so she's got this kind of like almost custard consistency of cornstarch and water. Lets it cool down, and it is just like custard. And she's had like seeds, carrot seeds in a glass jar of water for a couple of days just to kind of swell out a little bit and soak up. She puts them in this cornstarch stuff in a plastic bag, cuts the corner off, and she had a camera right up close to the seed, and they came out honestly like every 2 inches. And she says the good thing, she says it's a benefit of like it does, spread the seeds out great, but it's wrapped in this congealed water, which is giving it the thirst to germinate first, and giving it like a little reservoir of water first. So I went, right, I'm going to try that bad boy along with me tape. Are you writing that down, Stephen? Cornstarch, yes? Yes.
I think I've seen that video. I think I've
sure he's writing that down. I'll do that.
Yes.
Do that one.
Lorraine
Gray. Sorry, go on. Sorry, Audrey, what was that?
I was going to say, do you guys cover your carrot seeds once you plant them? I'm just curious how you do it. Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Do you mean, what do you mean, cover them before germination, or cover them for
like a plank or a cardboard or something so that the water stays in with them? Or you just plant them and let them go?
Let them go.
This used to be something that used to be used a lot when I was much, much younger. You would see them on allotments, and they used to put a plank over the drill, just a plank of wood, a piece of wood over it, and they would leave it over there. And what I used to see the allotment holders doing there was they would walk that plank along to compress the soil on top of the seedlings. They used to call it walking the plank. But and leave the cover on there.
But
very good for peas as well.
I've someone else mentioned about like covering. I think it was like parsnips, but I'm always I've never done it. I'll fleece over to stop like the flies, like the carrot root fly. But I would be paranoid that they've germinated and I've left it a day and they've went, you know what I mean, stressed
Well,
out.
you have to be responsible and pull it up every day or so just to take a peek. So that might not work for you.
No, you see, that's where responsible. That's where it kind of feels for me. I've got Lorraine Gray just for a question. Please, capitals, put some questions in there for our team of experts there. When do you sow your Swede? I'll start with you, Steve.
It's one of those things. I know a lot of people will be sowing them within the next month, but I always think that's a little bit too early. I like to sow the stuff that I want to grow over the winter. I would sort of want to be sowing that June, July, or even into August, really. So that's when I'll be doing mine, probably around about July. But I know people do go a lot earlier. But I prefer much smaller Swedes. I prefer something this big. I don't want something this big and it's got a big hole in the middle of it, like a bit of a canker or rot or something. So I want to keep mine small.
So I missed that because I was looking at the question, Steve. When do you sow Swede?
About July.
Right. And then it'll just go through the window, and then when do you intend to pick them?
Well, I'm sort of mostly pick them all by sort of around about Christmas time, really.
Right. Oh, so it's like
I don't think they store very well, Swedes. Well, at least I've never really found a good way of storing them. So I want to pick them and eat them when they're ready. But I don't like them growing too big. Sort of that sort of size is a good size. But anything like this, and it tends to me anyway, tends to be woody and fibrous, and I don't really like that.
Are we classing Swede and turnip as this to do the same? Do you do the same for that?
Well, turnips, you want them even smaller. You want them about this size, really. I don't want them that big either. Don't want them. But tennis ball size maximum for a turnip.
Audrey, what about you?
I love spring turnips, and my rutabaga. We call it rutabaga here. My Swedes are already growing, so those seeds are already, because we can't grow through the winter like you can.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have that luxury to go and like dig it out, because sometimes November is just nasty where I live. So my ground is almost frozen already. So I have to pull them, early before your season is done for sure.
Right.
We've got Edward Stewart saying, Steve and Audrey there. So when is the best time to plant sunflowers? Because they'll get knocked by the cold, I would have thought.
Yes.
I would class it as a warm weather thing, and I wouldn't sow them until May, maybe the end of April, but into May. They'll grow rapid. They really do grow rapidly, sunflowers.
Let's just see if there's anything else.
I sow mine like the second week in April, but I sow them indoors. I give them a little start and then plant them out like a week after our last frost, which is usually at the end of April.
Galaxy version 19 is asking, is it too early to plant potatoes in pots? My greenhouse is not up yet.
You've got to watch for the frosts. See, the thing is, what
take
can
a chance, man. I'll take a chance. My way, I cover a bit of fine fleece, the thinnest fleece you can get, and just ride that baby all the way to July to get a nice crop.
You've got to watch for the foliage coming out of the pots if you plant them too early. I know people are planting them now, and I've seen a few YouTubers doing them, but they're keeping them inside in polytunnels or greenhouses. For me, it's the end of the month, and I know then that by the time that foliage is out of those pots and the plants are growing away, all our frost will have finished, and they won't take a knock. Because once they take a knock and the foliage has been frosted, they will regrow, but they're just hanging around for a little bit first, so the potatoes are behind.
Will you do, Steve, early, seconds, and mains all in one go, in, like, say, over a weekend?
all in one day. The whole lot go in.
And then just
Whole lot.
pick when the earlies are ready. Pick them first. Because I watched you were picking a tomato, picking a potato the other day from last year. Roots, shoots, new shoots, and everything.
Yeah, I could have replanted them straight away.
I know. So did you keep them? Because I felt I could have left mine longer, but I was a little bit worried, and I just kind of harvested them because they were there. Did you just take them in a polytunnel and cover them with fleece, or is the soil enough to look after them?
Well, of course, you've got some hit protection with the polytunnel anyway, and I've just put them on the path. So during the day, if you get a frost in the night, it's generally because it's clear that day. And if it's clear that day, we've had sunshine, polytunnel warms up and the path warms up. So I always figured that if I put my potato pots on the path, they're the best chance of surviving a frost that night. And I do the same thing with my dahlia tubers when I store them as well. They stay on the path where it's warm.
Audrey, what's it like in? Is it Detroit? Because your winters are
Detroit. Yeah. Part of the problem is I can't get seed potatoes delivered to me until after my frost.
All right.
Because they don't want to be responsible for sending something to a frosty area and them dying. Now, interestingly, I got some seed potatoes just the other day, and I thought I'm at least a month out before I can plant these outdoors, because I don't have any way really to protect them from deep frost, and we can still get some pretty deep frosts. So I probably won't start mine until very end of April.
Wow.
But again, your climates are so different.
We're almost tropical.
You are.
Do you get blight there, Audrey?
Do I what?
Do you suffer with potato blight there?
I have not. But
right,
I don't. Okay. I haven't grown potatoes every year because we're not big potato eaters. So I just grow them because they're kind of fun, and it's like digging for treasure to see what grew and what didn't. So I'm only growing one variety this year, and it's the one we like the most, and that's all I'm doing. Last year I grew like 8 different varieties, and then we had too many potatoes. So
I've got Fat Dad 1872's asking, is there such a thing, Audrey, I'll ask you first, is there such a thing as a fail-safe crop or of any kind? What can you plant and it'll come up and bang, you have it works every time for you?
Radishes.
Get away in bollocks. No way. I swear to God, I went for my holiday. They've all bolted. They're about 3 inches long now, my radishes. I failed again this year. And there was a special bloody Italian.
I think bush beans for me.
Right.
I can't kill them. They grow. They don't need a whole lot of fuss, and they'll produce nice crops.
What are you calling bush beans then? Dwarf beans or
dwarf bean? That's probably what you call them. Dwarf beans. And I sent one of the packets I sent you was called Kalima beans.
Let's have a look. They just get that on for everyone to kind of have a look at.
Incredibly prolific and are lovely.
Right.
And they're almost like a filet bean. They're not quite the big, huge green beans. They and even if you pick them late off the bush, they will still taste great. But I found those to be the most prolific that I've ever grown.
Right. And how do you plant these then, Audrey? Are you kind of planting them in say a tree of 24 cells, one to a tree?
No, I wait till about first or second week in May, and I just plant them an inch deep where I want them to grow, and those are up in no time. Or you could plant them obviously earlier than that if you want to. Beans make me a little nervous starting them inside because they grow so quickly.
Oh, I know. Yeah. All of a sudden, because you think you're kind of hanging back, and then all of a sudden it's a and you think they should be out.
Plants, yes. Yeah. So I just direct sow those every year.
I'll tell you what I noticed, mind you, with Audrey. I'll just put it on this razor. I usually not be able to kind of see this, but they never say plant out March. They always, it's hard to kind of see. They've got the kind of the guide how to plant, they just always say a temperature, which
Right.
is that like an
Which-
American? Because we always have like say
Yeah.
on our seed packets we'll have so February, March, April.
Right.
Pick.
We never have that
Uh-huh.
because temperatures in the U.S. I mean, it's soup to nuts over here. You're up in where you get down to 20 below Fahrenheit, and other places that have no winters per se.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just tropical. So everything. That's why I think the zones are talked about a lot here.
Yeah.
Because that's how low your temperature gets.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with when your last frost is, but you know how low. So it's all about knowing first frost in the fall and last frost in the spring. That will dictate a lot of how we plant.
Right.
Steve, anything feel safe for you, lad?
It's got to be potatoes, hasn't it? Just chuck it in the ground and just wait.
Mm-hmm.
That's fail safe. It doesn't get much easier than that. I mean, most years when I used to grow in the ground, I never even watered them. Just put them in and left them to it. So easy.
I've just noticed there. This is a good question. Now I'll just put it up there. Jim Grant says he's planted these sweet peppers and lettuce on the 21st of the 2nd, and no germination yet. Is it too early or give up and retry? Stephen, what do you think?
21st. I'm just looking at the date. That's a whole
It's a month,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah, you should have seen something by now. I mean, I can only think really, unless the temperature's too cool, then the compost could be too wet. They're the two things I would look at. Is the temperature correct, and you're not overwatering them? Because people do think that. They think, oh, just tip a bit more water, maybe they'll come. If the compost is sodden, then they're not going to grow. But they do need their warmth. And I would say 24, 25 degrees as well.
What would you when would you give up, Steve? On it, like if you plant a seed, when do you think that's not going to come?
Well, what I tend to do is I'll if I've got a pot of seeds and they haven't come up in the time that I would expect them to, I'll put them to one side. I'll still water them, but I'll sow another tray.
What a tip! What a tip!
If I know something's going to come up in 7 days and it hasn't by 14, I am resowing them.
Absolutely.
Because you want to get off them quickly. But I won't give up on the old tray either. I will still try and grow them on and pass them to somebody else. Never give up on them.
We've just been talking about beans there, and Matthew Cloak is asking, what is the best runner bean that is your go-to one, Steve?
Well, don't grow runner beans as much as I used to, but the one I preferred was Lady Di. That was a nice stringless bean, and it had a lovely flavour. Not too big. I mean, you can get some which are incredibly long, but I found them a little bit woody, and some of them are very stringy as well. But Lady Di was a good one for me.
I think that's it's something that I'm not unconsciously steering away from as well. Do you mean, I don't know, Audrey, is runner beans something, I don't know what you might call them over there?
No, we have runner beans over here. I personally don't like them. So I grow pole beans, which are the long, tall
French
beans, but they're not classically runner beans.
Right, what's a pole bean? I've never heard of a pole bean before.
Well, a dwarf bean is a little bush, and a pole bean grows up. Yes.
Right.
Like what you didn't grow last year on your beanstalk. Yeah. And my favorite for that is called Christmas lima. It's a red and white lima bean that's very large and is just wonderful.
So they're a bit like a borlotti bean then.
Yeah, I grow them to dry them and use them as a dry bean.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've just seen one there. Tara Blinkhorn is asking, are there any salad leaves that you can grow in an unheated greenhouse over winter? I'm guessing salad, but we'll chuck in mustards there as well, I think. Steve, what's your answer for that? Because you're well into it.
Well, definitely the red Grenoble is is a definite, and you must try that if you haven't already. You must try that.
Vital Seeds. You can get it. I think that's one of the only places I found it, if I'm honest. Vital Seeds. So,
but I am making a lettuce video tomorrow. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Hey.
Tomorrow.
Hey, God loves a trier, eh? Always tries to have a little plug there. You know what I mean? Let's have a look. What's your best bargain? Oh, here's a nice one. Eh?
Excuse me.
What's your best bargain you've ever got for like gardening? Rachel Moradi, I think it is. Mine was electric propagator for £1 from a car boot sale, and it works perfectly. What's your best bargain, Steve?
Oh, I don't know. I like to think everything's a bargain. Really. Do you know? I couldn't think.
Shall I tell you what my worst one was? And I had it on a couple of years ago, and it was from China or somewhere, and it kind of clipped your bushes together. It was like a little gun with like red plastic tape. You know which one?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, I remember
what
that
a
one.
fiddly thing that was. You know what I mean? I actually found that in the bottom of one of the compost beds about a year ago, and I was just I obviously didn't like it, so Can you remember? Audrey, have you got anything that's like like a good little bargain you've had that you keep getting? You think that's been worth its money?
No. Honestly, I can't even think of anything that I would go, oh, that was a great bargain. I find gardening kind of expensive. So, and again, it's like a lot of hobbies. It doesn't necessarily mean what you get is cheaper than when you're buying it, but it's better and you enjoyed it. So that's worth value to me. So, yeah, sorry.
Never enough time is asking. Steve, I'll bring you in for this one. What are Swedes?
Just
I love it.
turnips from Sweden.
I mean, there isn't. We call. I mean, I've been grew up like for us, Swedes are turnips. Do you know what I mean? I know it's not.
Turnips,
but
they are a variety developed for the Swedish market. They're just turnips, but they've been classed as Swedes because the flesh is a slightly different color, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a yellow or a golden color, and it tastes different. So we call them rutabagas over here. I think they're two different.
Where's that name come from?
That's
I
what I
have no
want to know.
idea.
Where did that come from?
Yes. Yeah. I almost
don't want to know. Any more questions there? Anything to go by? Steve, have you got anything what's going on with your allotment? I know you're actually going to fill your beds, aren't you? These new, it's got more bloody beds. One of your size beds probably is about 4 of mine. Just one of yours. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know how many beds you've got now.
There's 16.
Well, aren't your new ones like 4 by 16 or something? Sorry. They're huge.
They're a good medium size, yeah. They're in proportion to the size of the plot.
Which is enormous. Yes.
So you're filling your beds this year, this weekend, aren't you?
I'm hoping to order some compost and get them filled up. But first of all, I'm going to scratch around the allotment first, empty all the compost heaps into them and all the piles of old weeds and bracken and stuff that I've got lying around. Fill it all up with as much rubbish as I can first, and then cardboard down and then compost on the top, and then we'll be good to go.
Are you like, when you say you're going to order in some compost, are you ordering it in bulk where it'll come in like a trailer, like topsoil, or is it like bagged compost?
It'll come on the back of a couple of wagons. I'm ordering 5 tons.
Right. And is it like, have you had it before? Is it nice compost or?
It's reasonable. It's reasonable for the price. It's green waste compost, so it's everyone's bins, and they've turned it and made it into a compost. So it's reasonable.
Where did you get that from then, Steve? Is that like a local thing, or is it like a UK wide?
Yeah, it's a local thing. So it's all our waste from our council area all goes to one company. It's only about 10 miles away from me, and they recycle it all and then sell it back to the public. So I get it off them.
So, and it's going to come in trailers, is it? Not like dumpy bags.
Yeah, there's a couple of, you might have seen them, those little Honda tipper things, little Honda or Isuzu tipper things, and it'll come on the back of two of those, two of them turn up. And then a couple of days later, they come back with the other half.
Wow, there must be some barrel loads there going in, eh?
Yeah.
Audrey, do you get your compost in bulk like that, or does it just...
No, bags. Yeah. Bags that my husband's back will take. That's as big as we get them.
It'd be nice to kind of see that, like a video of that, Steve, because that's something like most people don't do. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've had a load of like horse manure once, but to bring in compost, that's a nice treat. Do you know what I mean? It's like already composted.
Oh, yeah. It's a kind of a one-off. It's just to fill these beds up, and then hopefully after that, my plot will be able to make enough to maintain those. So it is a one-off treat, really, just to fill these beds up.
Let's see if there's anything else. I think. Well, how long have we been? We're over the hour already. So, well, I'll tell you what. We'll wrap up then. Audrey, is any like tips, last things you want to say before we shoot off, or?
Just get things started.
Mm-hmm.
Just start some seeds.
Yeah, definitely now.
Just start them.
It's all good.
Oh yeah, this is go time now. I mean, I think for all of us, this is one of the busy sowing months. So I say just get some seeds in trays and do your best.
Mm-hmm. That's the kind of. It's easy to say that, and you've got to have heat. It's a right little juggle if you haven't got them things.
Well, you need to watch my first video that's coming out really soon, and it talks all about winter sowing. So when you don't have indoor lights and you don't have heat mats, what do?
Right. Well, hopefully that video that video is going to come out soon, Audrey, because we're sick of. It's been nearly 3 months now. We're sick of waiting.
I know. Honestly, I was minutes away today, and it didn't happen. So I will get on it.
You know what it is, though, Audrey? You've got it don't fret about that first. Just get it out, and then within a couple of days, get another one out, and just keep on bang, bang, bang.
I do plan on that because I know what the second one will be, but I would like this one to at least make sense. So that's right. If someone's taking the time to watch it, I'd like it to be somewhat informational.
Stephen, any last words today, Stephen?
Pretty much the same as Audrey. Go and sieve some compost and sow some seeds and get on with it and learn by it. Take some notes, write it down, write what you did and learn by it, and get some seeds into some soil, get some things growing.
Well,
because remember, seeds want to grow. That's what they want to grow. So
yeah. Well, see that I disagree there, Audrey. When I'm sowing them, because they don't want to grow sometimes.
They do, but you have to kind of give them what they need sometimes.
Maybe that's it with my eye. Well, there's a link to Steve's website, Green Side Up. I was desperate to put a link to Audrey's site, but it's not there yet. But as soon as I can, I'll kind of put it up and we'll talk again. And, well, just like to say a big thank you to everyone in the chat who's been there for the questions. Sorry we didn't get to everybody. I'm sure if Audrey or Steve's just browsing through, they might drop a little kind of reply or something like that. Yes. But subscribe to Steve's show. That would be fantastic. And Audrey's when it comes round.
And did everyone like this video for Tony? We need to add the likes.
Oh, yes, and thumbs, likes, yes, yeah, off the off. Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Yes.
And we'll see you hopefully. I don't know what I think I'm off next Monday. So again, next Monday, 7 p.m. UK time is a time. Whether Steve will be here or Audrey, who knows? But hopefully, you never know. You never know. God willing. Look out for yourselves, everybody. Take good care.
Bye-bye.
Doodle paper, everyone.
Bye-bye. See you now.